I think it's pretty safe to say that Konami really wants people to play MST as an as an actual deck because apparently Konami has decided to introduce new MST support in Burst Protocol. Now, I will admit I am still a little weary, I guess if you will, from the whole weekend of Crown Jewel and what we witnessed on Raw just a minute ago. Because at the time that I'm recording this, it's almost 8:30, and I'm still trying to figure out what the fuck is Braun Breaker's problem. Yeah, so if you know, you know. But on that note, we are going to move on because again, Konami has decided to add some brand new MST support in Burst Protocol, which will be the new core set for 2026. If I'm being completely honest, I feel like that the deck is still missing a shit ton of cards in order for the deck to actually be a playable meta strategy as a pure build, because for the most part it seems like it's mainly a side package, if you will, for a lot of decks that can make infinite negates and potentially infinite disruptions like that, like DDDs and like yummy decks and whatnot. But I got to admit, I think it's going to be interesting to see what kind of decks people will build with this brand new with MSC being an actual archetype, which is absolutely crazy. So without any further ado, let's get straight into it. There are two cards that have just been announced, so let's talk about them right now. Kicking these off, we have Radiant Typhoon, Varurun? Yeah. Did I say that right? Yeah. Varurun, the Sea Spirit. It kind of sounds like if you really say the name Varurun, it kind of sounds like Varu from one of the Zelda games. Was it Ocarina of Time? It kind of sounds like that a little bit, which is kind of funny. But there's the brand new Link monster, and obviously, as I mentioned, it is a Wind Aqua Link 2 with 0 attack, and its arrows are bottom left and bottom right, and requires 2 Radiant Typhoon monsters, and all 3 of its effects are once per turn. The first effect reads, if this card is Link summoned, you can add 1 MST from your deck or grave to your hand. Second effect reads, you can target 2 face-up monsters on the field, including a Radiant Typhoon monster you control, place them face-up in their owner's spell and trap zone as continuous spells. Third effect reads, if a quick play spell is activated, you can place 1 Radiant Typhoon continuous trap from your deck or grave on the field face up. So it's not bad. It's actually not a bad Link 2. I mean, you get the chance to add MST from deck or grave to your hand, and you're able to use MST right off the bat once you've added it to your hand on summon, which is not that bad. It's actually pretty solid. And then with its second effect, it kind of reminds me in a way of what is it? The Millennium Exodia deck where you can put monsters into your back row face up, which is actually kind of sick. But it's really cool though because you can target one of your monsters and one of your opponent's monsters and put them into the back row. So theoretically speaking, you could take, if you're theoretically speaking, if you're going up against a deck like let's say Albaz, for example, if you're going up against Albaz, theoretically you could take this card. You can take this card, Sea Spirit, and your opponent's Mirror Jade, for example. You put them both into the back row. Now you're no longer affected by Mirror Jade's compulsive effect, because it basically is a continuous spell. So your opponent really can't do much with Mirror Jade unless if they have a way to pop their own Mirror Jade in order for them to use up Mirror Jade's effect. But even if that were to be the case, you can still use you can still use Call By on their Mirror Jade, and now Mirror Jade's effect is completely negated, which means that they won't be able to use Mirror Jade to pop your entire board. So the second effect is pretty solid. The third effect, though, is actually kind of a weird one, because while it is true that yes you can take a continuous trap from your deck or grave to your field face up, there aren't a whole lot of decks that play traps unless they're like high end like meta stables, like like Imperm or Diminished Impulse, or potentially like evenly matched. Maybe some Judgment at best, but that's pretty much it. That is like pretty much it. Unless if the deck in question is, if the trap is needed for the deck to combo off completely, then you could use traps. But again, for the most part, there aren't a whole lot of decks that use traps, again, unless they're high end meta staples. So this third effect, not the best, but it's not the worst either. Now for the final card of the video, it is known as Radiant Typhoon Elation, which actually the artwork actually looks pretty cool. I got to admit that, absolutely cool. So it is a quick play spell with both of its effects being a once per turn. The first effect reads: activate one of these effects, but you can only use each of these effects once per turn. Special summon a level 6 or lower Radiant Typhoon monster from your grave. Add 1 MST from your deck or grave to your hand. So it can either be a monster reborn, or it could be a spell Rhoda, if you will. So not bad. I mean, again, you get to literally add MST to your hand if you wanted, or you can revive one of your Radiant Typhoon monsters to your board, which would help you combo off into potentially summoning Varurun, which is not that bad. And then the second effect reads: if this card is destroyed by the effect of MST, you can set this card to your spell and trap zone. So if you use MST on this card, you basically get to set it back to your field from your grave, which is pretty sick. But if you're playing a mirror match, it's basically a double-edged sword. It's a good thing because now you know what cards are in the opponent's deck, because you're practically running the same cards, but at the same time, the bullshit that you're pulling on your opponent, they can pull the exact same bullshit on you. So it's a double-edged sword. But still, though, being able to set that card back to your board when it's popped by MST is pretty sick. I will admit that. But my thoughts on the archetype, I talked about it when I first introduced the archetype to you guys here on the channel. It's not that bad. It's a pretty solid archetype, but I said it before and I'll say it again. I feel like it needs more support. Like if it got at least like two or three more, at least two, maybe three more Link monsters, maybe a potential, maybe some more, a couple more main deck monsters, maybe a potential like Seas monster or something, then I truly believe that MST, that this archetype, Radiant Typhoon, can become one of the most dominant decks in 2026 of all time, like 100%. But that's just me talking. I don't know about you guys, but I think it could potentially be the deck in 2026. But with that being said, that'll do it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button. If you guys are new to the channel and you guys want more card discussions in the future, then be sure to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and as always, make sure you guys are following me on all of my social media. All of my @s will be in the description below, as will the info to my fan mail. It will also be in the description as well. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.